Hi again, Algebra 2, Copper Canyon. It's Miss Castro again. So I already did an intro lesson on 9.1, angles and standard position, but I didn't really have a chance to go through some examples. So I picked a couple examples from that unit that I saw in Ingenuity that I thought might cause you issues. So kind of use these as some examples to help guide you if you are getting stuck or having trouble getting correct answers through Ingenuity. All right, so here's one of the first questions that I came up with. It's a little different, but it kind of addresses a lot of issues you may be running into. So this first example says, find two negative and two positive angles that are coterminal to negative 820 degrees. So some key things that you need to pay attention to here. It says two negative angles, okay? That means we're gonna find two negative angle values from that one. And then it also asks you to do this as well. It says find two positive angles. So we're also going to find two positive angles using the angle negative 820. Okay. Now a word that we didn't have time to talk about last time, but it's prime time to talk about it now, is the word coterminal. It has a word in there that we mentioned last time, terminal. So if you remember from the last video, it says terminal is like terminate, right? It ends. So that's exactly coterminal. So a little bit more of a definition, but also example and strategy here. So coterminal angles, they're angles, the angles end at the same location. So that means like if you made a full turn, like let's say I was at 120 degrees, if I was at 120 degrees, I could add 360 to that angle or subtract 360 to that angle, and I would get a coterminal angle. It's gonna end in the same place because you're making a full circle turn. So if you look here at the vocabulary I put, you could add 360 or sometimes subtract 360. We're gonna do a little bit of both here, okay? So let's take a look at the example. So we're given this, we're starting with negative 820. So let's go ahead and find the negative angles first. So we're starting with negative 820 degrees. Now negative 820 is already negative, okay? So basically, if we start adding 360 to this, we should still end up with two more negative coterminal angles. So you can do this a couple ways. We could go ahead and continue to subtract 360 a couple times, or we can just go ahead and start adding 360 a couple times. So it really just depends on you. To keep things flowing the way they were on your assignment, I'm gonna go ahead and just subtract 360 so you get two more negative coterminal angles. I don't want you guys to get confused with that part. So here we go. So here's your negative 820. So we're gonna start off by subtracting 360. Remember, that's a full turn, so we're going in a clockwise motion, 360, but we're still gonna terminate at that same location that 820 is at. So grab a calculator, grab a cell phone, something like that, do the math, and we'll go through this a couple times. So negative 820 minus another 360 is gonna take you all the way to negative 1,180 degrees. So that is definitely a negative angle. We're gonna do it one more time, okay? Because we want two negative angles. So that's one negative angle, let's do it again. So we're gonna take the same angle that we had before, so I'm gonna put a little arrow here. So negative 1,180 degrees, okay? And we're gonna subtract 360 yet again. 360 is the magic number if you haven't figured that out yet, because that takes you right back to where you were, full turn circle, just like this. I'm standing forward. If I make a full circle turn, boom, coterminal, I just landed in the same position I was a few seconds ago, right? So subtracting 360 again, so let's see, minus 360 again from that, and we end up with negative 1,540. Now here's the thing about these problems, you can get a variety of answers, and so one of the things that might be a challenge for you on Ingenuity is being able to just try different things. Try subtracting 360 a couple times, maybe you'll find the negative angle. Try adding 360 a couple times, you might still find the negative angle. We're going to run into that issue right now when we go ahead and find the positive angles for this negative 820. So here we go again. So let's go ahead and put a little line here. All right, so let's take our negative 820 once again. But this time we're gonna start adding 360 to this because we need some positive angles in here, right? So let's add 360 to this once. Okay, so now we're adding, we're no longer subtracting. So let's see, so negative 820 plus 360, that's going to give me negative 460. Whoops, negative 460. Now here's the problem, we did the math right, but is that a negative angle? Sorry, is that a positive angle? It's not. So we have to keep adding 360 to this until we get some positive angles. So let's keep going. I'm not going to circle that because that's not a positive angle. We're looking for positive. So I'm going to add 360 to it again. Whoops, I did not write 360. So add 360 to that again. We get negative 100. Still not a positive angle, so we're just going to continue this because we're still not where we need to be. Add 360 again. All right, now I got 260 positive. This is the first positive angle that I was able to run into by adding 360, what, 1, 2, 3 times? I had to add 360 3 times to get to that positive angle. But that is one positive answer, right? We need to do it one more time because remember the directions did say 2 positive angles, so let's take it again. So we're gonna go back to our 260 that we just got, and we're gonna add 360 one more time. Positive 360, remember. And that's gonna give me 620 degrees. So here we go. I got 2 negative angles, I got 2 positive angles, and they're all coterminal. All right, so the last example here. Same kind of concept, but I wanted to just show you guys a little something about when you find all angles. Remember, there are infinite answers here. You can keep going and going with answers. So just a little quick example on this one. This one says find all angles. Key word here is all. It says find all angles that are coterminal with 485 degrees. 485 degrees is past 360, right? So that's a slightly large angle. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take this 485 degrees and make it smaller. 485 is too big. So let's take that 485 and let's go ahead and subtract 360 one time from it. It's too large right now. All right, so we take 45, subtract 360 once, and now I got a much smaller angle. I got 125. So remember, that means since I subtracted 360 from that 45, 125 is a coterminal angle to this original angle. I'm going to use that one to make my formula for all angles that are coterminal. So here's how the formula works. You just got 125 degrees. So the way you're going to write this is 125 degrees plus or minus, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and write plus. But remember, anything is coterminal if it has an added factor of 360. So we're going to add 360 to this. Change my colors up. And now here's the thing. We could keep sitting here and adding 360 plus 360 plus 360, but that's tedious. You want a formula. And so what we're going to do to this formula is we're going to add an n variable to the back of 360. That means you could do 360 a different amount of times. FYI, n is referred to as an integer in your notes. And I know a lot of you are not familiar with the word integer, but I have a quick definition here. Integers are just positive and negative non-decimal values. They have to be whole numbers, but they can also be positive or negative numbers, okay? Here's an example of integers. You can see that they're not decimals or fractions. You got some positives, you got negatives, you also have 0 in there, okay? So this is an example of all angles. This could give you all the angles for a coterminal. Now they get tricky on you on some of the examples. Some of the examples, they don't write 360. They do this. So they write the 125, right? But instead of putting 360, guess what they do? They're sneaky. They write 720 degrees n. Now, some of you might ask, what? Why 720? Let's think about it. If you take 360 and you double it, what do you get? 720, right? So those are also coterminal angles, okay? It's going to skip a value every once there, but you may also see that as an option. That would also produce coterminal angles, so just watch out for that. Okay, good luck, guys.